Kuwab Hashabata, Masha Patnasha, Zaka Hakodeshaba, Suwab Lahatawara, La Ayara, Kobal Haban, Kobal Haruak, Haya Awa, Haya Salam, Lamad Mayan Hamalek, Iraya Sala, Zahadawa, Iwaparath Hagawayam, Yakal Nasayawan, Alabahadam, Alabahashim, Alabahadam, Alabahashim, Hallelujah, Barakashim, Barakashim, Hallelujah, 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 Hawalaya, 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 Alabahashim, Alabahadam, Alabahashim, Alabahadam, Alabahashim, Hallelujah, Lekwazasapa, Kobal Haruak, Kobal Haruak, Kobal Haruak, Kobal Haruak, Hallelujah.
Babylon is falling, no more time for us to leave. They can't shake my faith, Abba got his hands on me. It's power in the blood, wholeheartedly believe. Allah Bahadam, Messiah died for you and me. Babylon is falling, no more time for us to leave. They can't shake my faith, Abba got his hands on me. It's power in the blood, wholeheartedly believe. Allah Bahadam, Messiah died for you and me. Babylon is falling, no more time for us to leave. They can't shake my faith, Abba got his hands on me. It's power in the blood, wholeheartedly believe. Allah Bahadam, Messiah died for you and me.
He took me out of darkness and put me in his marvelous light. And if you could relate to that, this song's for you.
Every time I think about all he's done, how he changed my life and made it so much better, I'm just in awe. It's so amazing, yeah. 'Cause many times I was down on my knees crying, looking for the answer, but I couldn't find it at all, yeah. But he always came on time and made it right. He's so he's faithful, yeah. He won't let me fall. Never, he never let me down before. Oh no, every day I need him, 'cause I'm just a man. I'm just a human, and I can't do nothing without him. I'll give you the glory, without him I'm nothing. Trials and tribulations everywhere I look, so I find myself deeper in this book, 'cause I believe what he says when I read. See, the scripture said it was gonna get worse. So these righteous acts I won't rehearse it and keep going no matter what. I know he's covering me. Yes, I believe he's faithful. So I'm never worried, no. He won't let me fall. He's got me in his hands, and he's holding me every day I need him. 'Cause I'm just a human. I'm just a didn't have to do it, but he did. He's been faithful, yeah. Every day, he won't let me fall. No, he won't. He never let me down before. Not once. Every day I need him more. And I know that I can't do nothing without him. I need him for everything, yeah. Without him. And I'm nothing now without him. All the breath I breathe that don't belong to me. I'm nothing without him. Oh, I'm nothing at all without him.
Yeah.
Magnum opus.
Yeah, bearing sheep, we was barely asleep. Moving through the pastor, though the pastors were barely sheep. They had teeth that was ready to eat. Right above it was a nose that barely could smell disease. But Ra, he created the 7 seas, separated the people, his heritage wasn't free. He purchased us through the covenants, brought us all through the sea. They were baptized there, though no water could touch the feet. Elohim, we will never witness defeat. Though the faithful witness that brass the color his feet. I was carried in the spirit, I saw the temple in peace. On the east there was a gate, I saw the prince with his sheep. Aleph Tav and everything in between. Reading 119, the doctor never defeated. Hashemayim, the Father, the only King. He spoke it and then he wrote it and sealed it up with a ring. And Ha'aretz inside the garden, we walking, so plant the seeds. Order the earth for equity, pardon iniquities. I'm sorry, all our problems were thick as thieves. Now we separated from it, the Kaddish, Lakadashim. See the bread, the cherubim, the table, the candlestick, the altar, the holy things, the veil. I see the garment with bells, I see the king, the nails. I see his hands, rebels could never see it, and we're gone. In the spirit on the holy day, this Yawam Kadah, so I only pray this one for the holy saints. In the spirit on the holy day, this Yawam Kadah, so I only pray this one for the holy saints. In the spirit on the holy day, this Yawam Kadah, so I only pray this one for the holy saints. In the spirit on the holy day, this Yawam Kadah, so I only pray this one for the holy saints.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Shalom, Israel. All praise to the Most High, man. We back in the building on Thursday night, right? We trying to get the vibes back, right? We trying to get the energy back up on Thursday night, man. So all praise to the Most High. Hey, Shalom, Brother Boaz in the building. You on mute,
Oh,
there you go.
Shalom, y'all Bashim Yasha Brakatah.
Y'all about Shimmy, I was Shabbat and Barakadam for everybody in the chat, man. We're gonna shout y'all out real quick. We're gonna do it fast because we want to get right into it, right? So we got Exodus 18 and 19 today, and then we're gonna go into Revelation 5. So get your precepts ready, get your highlighters and your markers ready, right? And we're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna let the brother Boaz greet the people into the room, and then we're gonna get started. All right.
All right. So who we got first on the list? Of course, the one, the only, Sister Joan Gilchrist. Shalom, sister. Of course, we got the school. Shalom to the school. Shalom to Adawan Yahawada. Shalom, Adawan. Shalom to brother Nadayab. Shalom, King. Shalom to Adawan Kanal. Shalom, Adawan. Shalom to Levi, the Edomite slayer. Khan, Shalom.
That's right.
Shalom to Adawan Yakum Ya. Shalom, Adawan. Shalom to the sister Carla Taylor. I see myself there. Shalom to the sister Debbie Diane. Shalom to the sister Malka Yapa. Shalom, sis. Shalom to brother Adawan Aharon. Shalom, Adawan.
Shalom.
And shalom to that brother Win Walker. Shalom. And a hearty shalom to everybody else that might come in a little bit later. We probably going to check y'all in when y'all get in, but we want to give a hearty shalom to all y'all when y'all come into the room.
Khan, that's right. That's right. So all praise to the Most High, man. We're making our way through the Torah. Once again, this week we're going into Exodus chapter 18 and chapter 19, right? So the children of Israel are traveling through the wilderness, and the Most High is bringing them to this point right here. And we got a couple of things we got to touch on this week, a couple of breakdowns that we can get into. So once again, if you have any question, put it in the chat. We're going to put a star beside it. If you have any prayer requests, anything like that that needs to be highlighted, let us know. We'll put a star beside it. We'll bring it up. All right. All praise to the Most High. So we're going to go ahead and get started with Exodus chapter 18.
This is what
my fault, real quick.
Oh, no,
say something for 2 seconds real fast. I forgot to do this.
2 seconds.
Your brother crazy.
Nah. Oh yeah. What I don't know if it's up there. If it's up there, y'all probably heard about it, man. I know brother's been making the announcement on it. I do not see it up here. I think that's something exclusive Adawan and Judah got going on. But as y'all know or y'all heard recently, AHOS is going to be hosting the Hebrew Summit down in North Carolina. I believe it's going to be, is it August 19th? Is the date on it August 19th? Or
yeah, somebody put in the chat. I don't have the flyer up. Let me see if I can find it real fast.
Oh, good. I'm like,
I don't want to say the wrong thing because I know they corrected the flyer.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to do it with my thumbs, moving extra fast. Let me see. Oh, ain't there. Hold on. Somebody probably posted it, but I ain't looking at it. All right, there it is. August.
Hey, Captain Yahweh, hit my rib up, man.
I think it starts.
Hit me up in the chat, and we'll get you set up, man. Right?
I think it might be the 29th, starting the 29th. I could be wrong. But from the flyer, it's like it says the 30th through the 31st. I think it's going to start on the 29th.
Yeah.
But it is. Hold on, because I'm like, let me see something real quick.
All right, we're going to let you figure that out, and maybe we'll come back to it and announce it at the end. Once again, if y'all watching and y'all have the dates for the summit, post them real quick, and we're going to pull that up on the screen. All right, validate that date. Make sure it's the most updated date before you put it up, and we'll put it on the screen. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. I was looking for a button. There's a button on StreamYard where you can sit there and add chapters manually while you're teaching, and I was going to do that. So we'll figure that out, all right? But all praise to the Most High. We're going to jump right into Exodus chapter 18.
Khan, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 1. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom.
Yeah, you good.
You made me lose my spot.
Verse 3.
Gershom. For he said, I have been an alien in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eleazar. For the God of my father said he was mine help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh.
Okay, so
And
let's stop real quick. I want to go into the word Midian real quick. So Jethro was a priest of Midian. Now we've been doing this. This is something that we've been going into every once in a while during the Torah portion. We have to be fair when we are looking at these people in the Bible, right? Because we all understand that the Most High is only dealing with the chosen bloodline. We understand that. But there are certain instances where people outside of the chosen bloodline are doing things, and then it causes us to go back and have to restudy, right? And make sure that we're teaching this faithfully to the people. So let's go to Genesis 25 and verse 1 real quick. And we're going here in order to prove who the people of Midian are, right?
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 1. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah, and she bare him Zimran, and Jokshan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua.
Okay, so of Abraham was born Midian, right, through Keturah. So Midian is one of Abraham's children. Now, drop that. Give me Genesis 26 and verse 5. Right, because we gotta draw the dots. Why are there people in the Bible who know about the Most High, but they not in the chosen bloodline, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Right? Let's show you this.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 26 and verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Okay, so Abraham kept the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? Now, these were law, statutes, and commandments that were around from the time of Adam, passed down through Noah, passed down through Abraham, right? And Abraham taught them to his children. We know that Ishmael would have known some of these commandments, and we know that Esau would have been aware of some of these commandments as well. We see passages in the Torah where Isaac will tell Esau, don't go and marry these other nations, right? So Esau knows some of these commandments as well. Now watch this. I'm going to give you one more precept to drive this point home. Hold on real quick. Right, give me Genesis 18 and verse 19 now. Right, and this is a more direct cut or a direct reference.
Okay. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 18 and verse 19. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, and the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him.
You see that? So Abraham was teaching his children after him to keep the commandments, right? Abraham wasn't saying, yo, the promise is not going to you, so I'm not going to teach you the commandments. Abraham was teaching all his children the commandments because during his time period, that's what was faithful for him to do, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I want to say a little side note real fast that we could jump back into Exodus 18. Side note is this. If we have children that, let's say, for instance, you're a stepfather to some children that may not be Israelites, right? How are you going to command them as they live in your household? You would definitely command them to keep your commandments, right? Most High's commandments, because number one, they are in your household. Just as Abraham had people in his household that was not of the chosen bloodline. So you can still treat them the way that a guardian would treat them, and you can still teach them to follow the commandments because number one, they're in your household, and number two, that's what Abraham did, right? All right, so we're going to keep going. That don't mean that they in the covenant. Slow down. That just means that that's what Abraham taught his children. So now we're reading about Jethro, a man who has carried this tradition, and now he has found himself in the same family with Moses, right? So let's keep reading.
Slakia.
Come.
Can I bring a precept out real quick just to add to that point? As far as like so this is the book of, just to add on to what Adonai is saying, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 10. It says, be as a father unto the fatherless, and instead of an husband unto their mother, so shalt thou be as the son of the Most High, and he shall love thee more than thy mother doth. Right? Yes. It's just like Yahushua, you know what I'm saying? Even though we know who his brothers were, you know what I'm saying? But we're all brothers and sisters, right? You know what I'm saying? And he treated us as the same, like to the ones who were fatherless.
That's right.
You know, but I yield.
Khan, that's an excellent point. Excellent point. All right, so now we back in Exodus 18. Now, as y'all going through this chapter with us, keep your bookmark in Exodus 18. All right? Go ahead.
Khan. This is Exodus chapter 18, verse 5. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of God. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, am come unto thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance, and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Lord delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who have delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who have delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians.
Now pause real quick. I want y'all to use judgment here. Listen to what Jethro's saying. Watch what Jethro does while he's around Moses. Pay attention to how Moses treated Jethro. And based on that information, how should we look at Jethro in the biblical story? Right? I'm not asking you, I'm not giving you the answer. I'm saying read the text, look at how Moses dealt with him, and look at how Jethro dealt back with Moses, and then make a conclusion on how we are to treat Jethro looking back on the text. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Verse 11. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came, and all the elders of Israel, to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God.
Now, how is it that this man, right? Hey, look at him. See? Look at Aharon in the chat. But that's the thing. Moses married a woman from another nation, right? That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, watch this. So Jethro, the scripture says in verse 12 that Jethro took a burnt offering and sacrifices for the Most High. And not only did he bring that sacrifice to the Most High, but Aaron and the elders and Moses ate with him before the Most High. Very interesting. So when we have a conversation about who can bring sacrifices and who can bring offerings before the Most High, we have to make sure that our terminology is correct. Sometimes we will lean to say, you've never seen another nation offer anything to the Most High. You got to be careful because you'll get cut. They'll bring you right here, right? So you want to say something more along the lines of the covenant of sacrifice was given to the Levites, right? And sacrifices in the service of God, according to Romans chapter 9, is for the children of Israel. There are instances where other people brought sacrifices to God, but this is by no means the pattern that we see throughout the scripture, right? That will be a very clean way to teach that, all right? Let's keep going.
Verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning unto even?
Hey, hold on real quick. My fault. I got to bring this point out. I don't want y'all bringing out a heavy point. Right? Let's jump back into verse 10 real fast. And this is an excellent point, right? I'm gonna grab Genesis 12 and 3, and you stay right there. Read verse 10 real quick.
Verse 10. And Jethro said, blessed be the Lord who have delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians.
You see that? So Jethro is speaking blessings in this time, right? He's not coming and saying, nah, man, my God's greater than yours. He's saying, he humbling down and saying, yo, the Most High that you serve got to be better than everybody else, God, if he did all that. Right? Now watch this. This is the book of Genesis chapter 12 and verse 2. I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee all families of the earth shall be blessed. So I'm going to show you how this scripture is fulfilled. And that's an excellent point, Adawan Yakum. This scripture is fulfilled, and it can be fulfilled multiple times, of course. But right here it's fulfilled because Jethro is from another nation. Mm-hmm. He blesses Moses, and the Most High blesses him back by accepting his sacrifice. Number one, not killing him on the spot. Number two, he's now married into the family of Moses. That's a good spot to be, right? If you got somebody in your corner praying for you, if Moses was praying for Jethro, right? I'm not going to say anything that wasn't written, but if Moses was in fact praying for his father-in-law, that would be a good person to pray for you. Mm-hmm. Right? Moses is a very good person to have in your corner. So it seems that the Most High blessed him back, even if only crumbs, right? You may not see Jethro on the judgment seat in the kingdom, but even if that's only crumbs, that's a good blessing, and Moses is a good man to have in your corner. Right? We can keep going.
Verse 15. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws.
Okay, now let's stop right there. Let's grab Matthew 23 and verse 1.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 23 and verse 1. It reads, Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
Okay, so when Yahushua was teaching about the seat of Moses, he was referencing Exodus chapter 18, right? Because Moses literally sat to judge the people. And he sat down. He probably had a throne or some type of chair or something, right? Because he was there from morning until evening, all day judging the people. So think about this. Symbolically, anybody who takes Moses' seat is now, anybody who takes his place now takes his, what they call seat, right? His place of authority, his place of leadership in the nation, right? So when the people came to Moses, they was there all day to hear small and great matters. Now, this is where Jethro's proposal comes in very important. And this also comes in very important for all of y'all brothers and sisters out here now, right? If you are in any type of leadership position in the camp, in your household, right? You could be a wife, you could be an auntie, You could be a sister. You could be a brother. You could be a soldier, a officer, right? All of these positions have leadership authorities to them, and you can't try to take on too much responsibility because you're going to destroy yourself. So this is what we're going to read now in Exodus chapter 18, right? Starting at 17.
Come, verse 17. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt shew them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens.
All right, let's stop right there real quick. So what he's doing is he's segregating the areas of responsibility, right? One man can't take care of all of these people. There's no way that you're going to die in a week if you try to do this, right? Now, we got to think about what Jethro is saying. First of all, let's learn this lesson. Truth can come from many sources. Truth can come from many sources. In the Bible, a donkey talks, right? The scripture says, out of the mouth of babes. So truth can come from many sources. Right here, truth comes from a man who's not even an Israelite. And did Moses stand up and say, yo, you're not even an Israelite. How you know what the Lord want? Get your nasty behind away from here. Or did he take that as an opportunity and say, what this brother's saying is actually wise? Right? Hey, that's right. Hey, and that's a good point too. I don't want y'all on fire. Jethro is acknowledging that the laws are for the children of Israel. Jethro ain't saying, yo, I got a question for you, Moses, or Jethro ain't throwing himself and his family into it, right? He just kind of observing. So that's an excellent point as well. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Verse 22. And let them judge the people at all seasons, and it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Oh,
All
man,
right.
that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man. Now I was my sister got me watching this show called some alien that's on Netflix. But the point was the father, his daughter killed somebody out of self-defense, but she was messed up for it.
Mm-hmm.
So when she finally told her father about it, he was like, it's good, I'll bear the burden with you to take some of that weight off of you. And see it, Slakia.
That's good.
I'm gonna keep reading.
No, you're good. His brother said, bear the burden. I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought that was cold. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Oh,
you know, but Slakia.
that's good.
Verse 23. If thou shalt do this thing and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons. The hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land.
Okay, so before we get into this next chapter, let me get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 and 12. Right, and then I'm gonna grab Ecclesiastes 7 and 16.
Okay. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 12. Seek not death in the era of your life, and pull not upon yourselves destruction with works of your hands.
Now, I know that this is dealing with wickedness and idolatry and going against the laws of the Most High. But think about the second half of that. Pull not upon yourselves destruction with the work of your hands. Sometimes by you trying to do too much and having your hand in the pot everywhere, you can destroy yourself, right? Because you pulled in too many directions, right? You trying to take care of your household, but then you trying to build your business, but then you also trying to run this, and you the head of that, and you over here doing that. And then what happens is you don't have time to clear your own thoughts, meditate on the scriptures, right? Make sure that your health is taken care of. So we don't want to destroy ourselves with the work of our own hands. This is Sirach 7 and 16. Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Now, not saying that Moses was doing this, but this is good that Moses took the advice of Jethro. Because imagine all the higher level things that now Moses has time to deal with. He has time to strategize on. He has time to clearly meditate on the scriptures and on the commandments, right? So now that freed up so much time for him to do higher things. And we got to find places in our lives. Me and the brother Judah was talking about it this week. We all have to find places in our lives where you might have to clear some space in order to make it to the next level of whatever you're trying to make it to, right? All praises. Let's keep going, right? Now we in Exodus chapter 19.
Okay. This is the book of Exodus chapter 19 and verse 1. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on the eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Now, very interesting language, right? Not only do we see a separation of the bloodline, as we read through the Torah, we see a separation of the bloodline. We traced it through Genesis, how the covenant was separated, and it went from Abraham to Isaac, straight to Jacob, skipped over people, right? But now the Most High is not stopping there. He's not stopping with the covenant's only going to be on his bloodline. Now he's going a step further and saying, if you will obey my voice and keep my covenant, I'm going to make you a peculiar treasure above all people that are on the face of the earth. Now, can we pull that up in Hebrew real quick, King? I want to pull that up in Hebrew. I think it's very important. I explain this all the time. It's very important for us to understand what the word above means. And this all goes into the next verse, right? How many times do we quote 1 Corinthians chapter 11? Right? We quote that the man is the head of the woman, right? Christ is the head of the man, and the Most High is the head of Christ. Now, the Israelite man is supposed to be the head of the world. I'm going to say that one more time. The Israelite man is supposed to be the head of the world. So, if we are operating in our true position, we're supposed to be above all people. Now, this doesn't mean that, I've heard this breakdown, right? And there is some truth to it, that we are above them in the sense of we are better than them at certain things. But this prophecy is not talking about, and this promise and this characteristic is not necessarily talking about a physical trait, because we know that Esau was actually physically stronger than Jacob, right? We know this. Esau was a man of the field. He was a cunning hunter. He was in the field all day. Jacob was in the house. He was a plain man. Not to say he was soft, but Esau was probably a little bit more rugged than Jacob, right? So as we look into it, it's not the physical characteristics, it's the spiritual positioning, right? Let's look at this real quick.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I like using Blue Letter. I don't even like Bible Hub. I like using Bible Hub. I don't even like Blue Letter. The reason I like using Bible Hub is because it lays it out in the format that it would be in the actual manuscript. But this is fine. So, no, go back.
Go back.
Yeah, I want to go to the word above, right? So just zoom in real quick. All right. Yep, above. Okay. You see where it says me call, right? So if you go back to the Hebrew part,
Let me see.
y'all bear with us real quick. I should have had this up. So go back to the Hebrew and go to that first word where it says above, and then just zoom in on it. Don't click on anything.
All right, Slakia.
Yeah, you good. There it is, right there. Okay, so Mikal, right? And the word call means all in the Bible. So the second two letters in this word is what means all. But the prefix is a mem, and that's a preposition. And that preposition denotes above, right? Or from, right? So if you translate this, you can most certainly say above all people. But the way the mem prefix is generally translated is from, right? So we can also say that this should be rendered, if you will obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you will be a peculiar treasure unto me from all people, right? So I just wanted to point that out because it's a fair thing to point out. Plus, a lot of the times we'll use that and say, yeah, because we're better at basketball, and we're talking about characteristics. We're not necessarily talking about positioning. All right. So let's keep going. And we can definitely show you another, multiple scriptures throughout the Bible. I don't want y'all put it in the chat, 2nd Ezra 6:55, right? We can go to Isaiah. We can go all over the Bible to show you that the children of Israel were a special people picked out from among all people, right? So that's what that translation was there for. All right, but let's keep reading. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
Unto everybody.
Unto the children of Israel.
Because you forgot Jethro. Jethro cool too.
Unto the children of Israel.
Right? So if your Christian brothers and sisters want to bring you to Jethro, just bring them right on down, right? Read the rest of the content, because that's what they want you to do anyway, right? They're going to say, brother, you ain't read the whole chapter. Don't even jump. Just read it and let it come out.
Hey, Shalakia. And another thing, because there was people that left Egypt with Israel.
Correct.
So if it was, as you said, everybody, then why is it specifically just saying unto the children of Israel, even though all these people would be there with Israel as well?
That's an excellent point, right? They got to deal with that question, right? And he had a perfect opportunity to bring Jethro in there. The children of Israel and Jethro, but he didn't say that.
Right.
Watch this. Now we got to deal with the concept of kings and priests. All right, let's y'all put your finger in Exodus chapter 18. We're gonna run around the Bible a little bit, right? We're gonna run around the Bible a little bit. We need to understand who are the kings and priests and why is that language always used throughout the Bible. Let's start at Genesis 1:26.
All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1, and verse 26. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Okay, so right here we see that men had dominion, right? Dominion. That word means authority, rulership. Okay, I'm gonna grab you another precept real quick. Let me pre-read it first. Sometimes I'll be writing these down wrong. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9. Okay, give me Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and verse 2. Right? In case you don't agree with that definition of dominion.
Okay. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and verse 2. And ordain man through thy wisdom that he should have dominion over the creatures which thou hast made.
Uh-oh. Come on.
And order the world according to equity and righteousness, and execute judgment with an upright heart.
Okay, so it seems to me that we are describing a king-like figure or an authority who would act as a king and set the whole earth in order. When we talking about the other nations, right? A lot of the times in prophecy and in Genesis, it can also be said that the beast and the other animals could be called the other nations, right? I've heard that interpretation. I understand it, and there's precepts to back that up, right? So Adam, who was the chosen bloodline, was chosen for dominion, and he had rulership and authority over the other people. Now, give me Genesis chapter 4 and verse 4. Not only was Adam a king, or did he have dominion and rulership, but he also knew enough about sacrifices and the priestly duties.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 4. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering.
Now, it's not written, but who would Abel have learned how to perform a sacrifice from, right? He would have learned this from his father. So, just showing you that the kingly duties and the priestly duties go hand in hand when we start dealing with some of the most important people of the Bible, right? Great example of this is Melchizedek. Let's get Genesis 14 and 18. Y'all put a 1 in the chat if we're going too fast. You can always go back and pause it, but I want to make sure that y'all getting y'all questions answered as well, right? Genesis 14 and 18.
It's the book of Genesis, chapter 14 and verse 18. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God.
You see that? So Melchizedek, and his name means king of righteousness, right? He's the king of a place called Salem, and he's a priest of the Most High God. So he's a king and a priest. Follow me, right? Adam was a king and a priest. We can look at Noah. Noah was a king and a priest. We can look at a lot of people through the bloodline, and now we make our way to Melchizedek. Now, let's jump down to the role of the Messiah, right? What's the Messiah going to be? Give me Ezekiel 34, and we're going to start at 22.
Slack you. You said 34?
Yep.
Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse, you said 2?
22.
Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse 22. Therefore I will save my flock, and they shall no more be a prey, and I will judge between cattle and cattle.
Come on.
And I will set up one shepherd over them, and he shall feed them, even my servant David. He shall feed them, and he shall be their shepherd.
Now, a shepherd represents a king of sorts of the sheep, right? He guides the sheep. Everything he say, they do, and he protects the sheep with his rulership and his authority. But let's keep reading. Verse 24.
Verse 24. And I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it.
And we've gone over this before, but who in the chat knows what the prince represents? Anytime we're talking about a prince of the children of Israel, what do they represent? Right? This is something you must know. You have to know this. What does a prince represent when we're talking about the children of Israel? Right? We know a king. We know the king is the top ruler, right? Just think of the metaphor. The king is the top ruler, and he's the governmental head. And then there's a guy right below him because he's the prince, right? The prince is right below the king. And this person is another type of head in the nation. I'm going to give you all a second to answer this one. Yes, Yahushua is the prince. That's right. Not the person. Let me clarify that. Not the person. Y'all are right, though. Yahushua is the prince. But what position in Israel is equivalent to the word prince as we read the Old Testament? Let's see if y'all get it. If y'all don't get it, it's okay, because we're going to give you the answer. Right? So it's two different ways. Okay, Judge, that's a good answer. Actually, that's a good answer. Okay. So there's two ways to look at it. A prince can be a ruler, right? When we go to the book of Daniel, chapter 9, the reason I named the song Mashak Nagid is because that is the anointed prince, right? Nagid is the word prince. Mashak is the word anointed. The anointed prince. Now, question. Who do you anoint? You anoint the king, and who else do you anoint?
The prince.
You anoint the priest.
Oh, okay.
So the heads of the tribes of the children of Israel were also called princes, right? So when you say judge, you're not incorrect. But the priest is the prince. So as we read Ezekiel chapter 34, it says that David will be their shepherd and he will also be their priest. So we know that David is Yahushua, as y'all correctly pointed out.
Right.
That means he's a king and a priest. So once again, we saw Adam was a king and a priest. We saw Melchizedek was a king and a priest. We saw Christ was a king and a priest. And now we read in Exodus chapter 19 that the Most High was trying to make the entire nation of Israel kings and priests. Right? Let's keep reading it. And I do have more. I have another precept, actually. Let me get this precept just so y'all have it. Give me Numbers chapter 7. And I'm just going to jump to the point, which is verse 10. Right? Numbers 7 and 10. And the princes offered for dedicating of the altar in the day that it was anointed. Even the princes offered their offering before the altar. You see that? So a prince is synonymous with a priest. And the precept you need to prove that is Numbers 7 and 10. All right. All praise to the Most High. All right, let's keep going, King.
Verse 7. Verse 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord hath spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of all the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that thou the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people.
Hold on, real quick. My fault. Not my fault. Real quick. I want everybody to write down the word mediator, right? Moses was a mediator between the children of Israel and the Most High. So the Most High told Moses something. Moses went back and told the people. Then the people told Moses something, and Moses went back and told the Most High. He's a mediator. So when the Old Testament only try to hit you with, we never needed a mediator, right? When they try to hit you with that, the only question you need to ask is, why did we need a priest? And why did we need a king? Right? We know the children of Israel asked for a king, but once the children of Israel asked for a king, who did the Most High hold responsible for the well-being of the nation and for the ordering of the nation? The king, right? So the king and the priest become that mediator, and Moses was all of that in one, right? And in the future, Christ will be all of that in one. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Verse 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount.
Hold up. Very important point. When the covenant is about to be given, there's going to be a trumpet sound that calls the people up unto the mountain of the Most High, right? Very important. I think that precept should be pulled out on the Feast of Trumpets. Like, that's a cold precept right there. All right, let's keep going.
Verse 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day, come not at your wives.
Now, what does that mean, to come at your wife? What does that mean? Y'all know what that means. Come on now. Right? I know y'all know what this means. We're going to pull some precepts real quick just to show why Moses said that, and to show why we teach on the Sabbath or on the eve of the Sabbath, don't be around, don't lay with your woman, don't deal with your woman, right? We're going to show you why. Okay, the answers are coming in. Right, we're gonna give it to you real quick. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 18.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 15 and verse 18. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation. I'm gonna read that again. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even.
Okay, I'm gonna read this in the ESV so y'all get the sense, right? The ESV is a good translation in the sense that it's a word for word translation. It does have some strange verses, but you know, it's a good word for word translation. And it says, verse 18, if a man lies with a woman and has an emission of semen, both of them shall bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. Right? So as they're putting in the chat, it makes you unclean. Now think about this. The ground on which you stand before the Most High is supposed to be holy ground. Right? When you come to the feast days, that's supposed to be holy ground. When you come to the congregation, that's supposed to be holy ground. When you come to the holy convocations, that's supposed to be holy ground. So this is the reason why Moses told the people, even before the law was given, which proves that this was a law already, right? And this was a principle in the mind of the Most High already. He said, do not come at your wives. Keep yourselves clean because we are going to the Most High. He had them wash their water or wash their clothes, and he had them wash themselves as well, right? So that's the breakdown on that. If anybody needs the precepts, there's a little bit more precepts we can get, but I think that's the point. All right, let's keep going.
Okay. Slovakia. Flipping back and forth got me lost out of line.
You good? Exodus 19 and 16.
Verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord...
Hold on real quick. So let's deal with this real fast, right? Real fast. Let me get this precept. This is 1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 12. Real fast. Slovakia. My Bible freezing up on my phone. 1 Kings, let me use this app. 1 Kings chapter 8 and 12. Okay. Then Solomon said, Yahweh has said that he would dwell in thick darkness. I have indeed built you an exalted house, a place for you to dwell forever. So why does the Most High say that he will dwell in thick darkness? Right? What does this mean? We got to break down the word dark to understand that. Right? The word dark does not always mean a bad thing. We associate the word light with good, and we associate the word dark with bad. Right? But in this case, darkness is not bad. Darkness is mystery. And darkness is incomprehensibleness, right? If that's a word. It don't sound like it is, right? Let me show you a precept. Right? So, first of all, let me get Sirach chapter 35. I pull this one out all the time. 39 and verse 1. It says, he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof. And is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in the prophecies. So this is a good thing, right? He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. This is a good thing. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. So dark means something that's not openly apparent, right? The light must be shown on it in order for you to understand it. This is how the Most High dwells. The Most High is not out in the open for everybody to see. That's why it's so crazy when we see these people in the world saying that they worship in the Most High, because it's like you don't even know the Most High, right? Your heart is desperately wicked. People like to say, my heart, the Most High knows my heart. That's not a good thing. The heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it? Jeremiah 17 and 9. So if the heart is desperately wicked, and the Most High is holy, 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 and separated from wickedness, how can you ever approach to know him? He has to come into the realm where we at and show his presence to us. We can't go find him. That's what the darkness represents, right? Now, yeah, let's get that one too. That was Sirach chapter 39 and 1, verse 39, verse 1 through 3. All right. And then also I want to definitely get that Proverbs.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1 and verse 6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings.
See that? So this is why the book of Proverbs was written, so that we can understand the words of the wise and their dark sayings, right? So once again, dark is not negative in this context. Dark represents something that's not apparent. All right. So now let's go back and let's look at verse 19 one more time.
Verse 19. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice.
So now we gotta deal with this precept in John. Right? Give me John 5 and 37.
It's the book of John, chapter 5, in verse 37. And the Father himself, which hath sent me, have borne witness of me. Ye have neither heard his voice at any time, nor seen his shape.
You see that? So some people would say, well, hold on. He can't be teaching the truth because Moses heard his voice, and actually the entire congregation of Israel was present, and they heard his voice too, out of the thunderings and out of the thick cloud that was in Exodus. This is what people will say to disprove the New Testament, right? I think the answer to this is very simple. Once again, we believe that whatever the Most High does, he has a messenger or he has a mouthpiece to do it for him, right? So it's very simple, right? You can get Sirach 18 and 1. It says the Most High does all things in general. Then you can also get other verses where Christ takes the words of the Most High into his own mouth. Are we now going to say that Christ is the Most High, or is he speaking the words of the Most High, right? When we see Isaiah or Jeremiah take the words of the Most High and say, Koamar Yahweh, right? Which is, for thus says the Lord. When he says that, does that mean that Jeremiah or Isaiah is now the Lord speaking? No. So in the same way, when they hear a voice, it doesn't. The greatest example is Exodus chapter, the burning bush. Let me find it real quick. Exodus chapter 3. I thought that's what it was, right? Because in one place it says that the Most High was speaking to Moses, and then shortly after it says that there was an angel speaking to Moses. Right? The angel spoke out of the bush. So that would be a great example to go to if somebody wanted to use that scoff, and you could say that's the same argument that we could use there. All right, let's keep going. I don't want to get off track, but I just thought that was a good point. Let's keep going.
Verse 20. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargedest us, saying, Set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. And the Lord said unto him, Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee, but let not the priests, but let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them.
Okay, so pay attention. There's a lot of going up the mountain and coming down the mountain. I had a conversation with the brother Araya, good brother Araya from SOT a while back, and he was showing me this is important, because when we read the 10 commandments, notice it starts by saying, and God spake all these words, right? When we go into Exodus chapter 20.
Mhm.
But when you read chapter 19, Moses is the one who came down the mountain. So although Moses is speaking, what he says counts as what God said. I'm going to say that one more time. What Moses says to the people counts as what God said to the people. And this is how Sirach chapter 18 and 1 makes sense. Everything that happens, the Most High is doing it because he sent Moses. He told Moses what to say, and Moses said exactly that to the people. Therefore, God said it. Right? Now, real quick, I want Sister Jahaziel real quick. If you can clarify your question on which parts you didn't understand, I want to make sure we cover that before we move on. And then Boaz, let's get 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and 1. This is something that we can read past, but Ezra had a very similar situation, right? Let's read that.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 1. And it came to pass, upon the 3rd day, I sat under an oak.
On the what day? Which day was it?
On the 3rd day.
It was on the 3rd day. Okay, come on.
I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of a bush over against me and said,
out of a what?
Out of a bush.
Okay, so it's the 3rd day, and a voice came out of a bush. Okay, I'm following you. Go ahead.
And said, Ezra's. And I said, Here I am, Lord. And I stood up on my feet. Then said he unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talked with him when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up to the mount of Sinai, where I held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and shewed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, These words shalt thou declare, and these shalt thou hide.
All right, let's stop there. So as we see, some things are open and some things are closed. So the Most High brought Moses up on the mountain. He's telling Ezra, I'm speaking to you similar to how I spoke to Moses. And when I spoke to Moses, I brought him by me and held him by me for a long time. Now let's think about the story of Ezra. Almost all of 2nd Ezra is him going back and forth with an angel. That means the Most High kept Ezra by him for a long time, right? The Most High also showed him the secret of the times and the end, right? Very similar story to Moses. I just thought that was very interesting. Okay, so, hey, he said this is mirroring the walk of Yahushua as well. That's right. That's a fact. It's so many mirrors between the prophets and Yahushua, man. It's almost, that's why people come to the conclusion sometimes that Yahushua is these prophets, because it's so many similarities. Okay, look at this. Why the Most High said the people be clean. Okay, this is a good point. Why he told them to clean themselves and make sure they don't break through, right? Now I want you to think about this real quick. And remember, this is following the Exodus. And following the 2nd Exodus, we're going to do something very similar. We're going to come to the wilderness. Yahushua is going to purge out the rebels, meaning he's going to clean us. And then we're going to be presented in the covenant, right? So let me pull the precept and then I'll explain why I think this happens, right? Because I think it's a process. I think you got to be clean to have an encounter with the Most High, but you still can't get too close. You have to make it to a certain level to get that close to the Most High. You don't just because we're clean sometimes, just because we're repentant, we think that now we have full access to the Most High. And I don't believe that's the case. I believe we all have limited access. This is why Paul said we see through a glass dimly. So if Paul is teaching that he saw through a glass dimly, right, and he was a master of the law, and we know that these people that was at the mountain saw through a glass dimly, because we just read it in 2nd Ezra. Some things were apparent and open for the people to know, and some things were sealed up, right? So if that's the case for people who was at the mountain, then we know during our time it's going to be exactly the same, if not more separated between us and Yahushua, who is able to be at the right hand of the Father, right? But let's get a precept to demonstrate that. Let me get Ezekiel chapter 20. Right, this is the 2nd Exodus. Like I said, we go into this every once in a while, and we can start at verse 33, and this is describing the 2nd Exodus.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 33. As I live, saith the Lord, Yahweh, surely with the mighty hand, and with the stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
Okay, so 2nd Exodus, come on.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith the Lord Yahweh. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me.
Now notice here, he's bringing them into the bond of the covenant. He's purging out the rebels, right? And those who transgress, so he's cleaning them. And now I want you to jump down to verse 40. See what it says at verse 40.
Verse 40. For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith the Lord Yahweh, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things.
You see that? So the Most High is not only going to bring you to the holy mountain, but this time he's going to accept us in. You see that? That's cold. Also, when you read in the book of Revelation, it says that there will be we will get to see the Father, right? We will get to see him in his glory in the kingdom. We will get to see Christ in the kingdom, right? We will be walking amongst them in the kingdom, and their throne will be amongst us, and he's going to be our God, and we will be his people, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the wonderful thing about it is that with Moses, it shows us a shadow of the people got that close to the Most High, but he was still in darkness, and it was still not fully revealed what the Most High was and what he was about to the people. But in the latter times, when we get to the kingdom, the Most High is going to remove that darkness, and we're going to know what we need to know. And it says, from the least of them to the greatest of them, we shall all know him. That's in Jeremiah chapter 31. Right? So all praises. Now, let's stop there. Let's jump into this Revelation chapter 5 breakdown. Right? So now we're going to go to Revelation chapter 5, and we're going to do a quick breakdown on it. It's not going to take long because we already broke down most of those concepts as we was reading. Uh-oh. He said the sound went out. Y'all give me a 7 if you can hear us. Can you hear me, Boaz?
Kind of one.
Oh. All right. Brother said, nope, it was me. All right, all praises. Okay, so Revelation chapter 5. Let's start at verse 1.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 5 and verse 1. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside sealed with 7 seals.
Got to stop right there. So now we got to understand, why is there a book that's written on both sides? It's a clue. Give me Exodus chapter 32 and 15.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 32 and verse 15. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the 2 tables of the testimony were in his hand. The tables were written on both their sides. On the one side and on the other were they written.
You see that? So when Moses came down with the tables of the testimony, notice it's called the tables of the testimony. When Moses came down with the tables of the testimony, those things they was written with the finger of God, and they was written on both sides, right? So this represents whatever book this person is holding in Revelation chapter 5, right? Now I'm gonna get you one more precept that I don't have written down, so give me a quick second.
Give me 1 second, I don't want.
Yeah, you good. All right. So while we waiting on him, I'm gonna start shouting some people out real quick, just to give him a second to come back. All right, I see some new faces in the chat. Shalom, be like ants. Officer Shemaiah, Shalom King, Sister Kokma, Octave, Sister L, Adawan Yaakov Yah, Adawan, I'm about to say Adawan Yahawada, right? Who else we got? Sister Josephina, Shalom. All right, all praise to the Most High. So, yes, all right, grab Deuteronomy 31:26.
Slack. Just the book of Deuteronomy. You want me to start at 1?
Yeah. All right. No. Deuteronomy 31 and 26.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31 and verse 26. Take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee.
Come on.
For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord. And how much more after my death?
All right, that's good. So this book of the law, this tablet of the testimony, whatever you want to call it, right? This is the book that is either a witness against you, or it can be a witness for you, right? So when we see references of your name will be written in the book of life, it's a reference to a spiritual version of the 10 Commandments or the tablets of the testimony, right? It's a reference of the spiritual version of the tablets of the testimony, right? Sometimes it's called the book of the covenant, and sometimes it's called the book of life, right? And we see that all throughout the book of Revelation. Now, another thing it said in Revelation 5:1 is, I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. Now, you can read about what each of those seals are in Revelation chapter 6, 7, and I believe it goes into verse 8. Yeah. So 6, 7, and 8 all go into the seals that are closing this book. Right? So remember when Christ said, he said he came not to, or he said, until heaven and earth pass away, not one jot or tittle shall pass from the law until all be fulfilled, right? This is what he's referencing. He's saying the seals won't be open until everything's fulfilled. So the book is closed, the book is locked shut, right? And we won't know who's written in the book of life until the very end. So it's impossible for a person to say, my name is written in the book of life, or I'm saved, or I was saved when I was 13. It's impossible for you to know that, brother, because the book is sealed.
Mhm.
It got 7 seals on it, brother. How you know what's in the book? And those seals have not come to pass just yet, right? So you can go through Revelation chapter 6 to understand what those seals are. Let's keep going.
Verse 2. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof.
All right. Isaiah 59 and 16. Right? And a brother, we're gonna have to do another volume, and we're gonna have to break down the arm of the Lord. Right? We gotta break down the arm of the Lord so brothers understand what that is. I would submit to you that the arm of the Lord is Christ. But you know what I'm saying? I could see how brothers would say it's an angel or something like that, right? But I would submit that the arm of the Lord is Christ. And we're gonna deal with that. We're gonna bring that up. The brothers, the captains, or whatever like that. We're gonna talk about it, hash it up, and then one day we're gonna bring that doctrine out, right? But let's go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 16. And he saw that there was no man, and wondered that there was no intercessor. Therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness, it sustained him.
Right? And if we keep reading into verse 17, we'll see that these are many of the things that represent Christ later on in the Bible, right? He put on the righteousness as a breastplate, the helmet of salvation on his head. He put on the garments of vengeance for clothing. Who had on the garments of vengeance in Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 1? That was Christ, right? Who is this that cometh from Basra with his garments dyed red? We know that's Christ because we know the Most High ain't leave the throne to kill nobody. He don't need to, right? So this is why we understand this. But once again, we'll come back with a more detailed breakdown on the arm of the Lord later. All right, let's go back. Revelation 5 and 3. 5 and 4.
Verse 4. And I wept much because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, have prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
Okay, so he's the only one that's worthy to open up the 7 seals. Now, question for everybody. Why is he worthy to open the 7 seals? Why is he worthy to open the book of the testimony? It's a very easy answer. Think about everything we talked about so far. The very first thing we covered in this class, the very first breakdown we covered, what qualifies this person to be the one to open the 7 seals? Right? And I'm going to pull the precepts after y'all say it. After y'all start putting y'all answers in the chat. Ooh, he got a precept. He got a mean precept too. Right? Uh, 22 and 14. Okay, there we go. World without end. Right? World without end. He's the priest. He's the anointed one. His purpose is to be the one to open the book. What did I say the book was? It's the book of the covenant. It's the book of the testimony. It's the book of life. Who opened the book the first time? Moses. Moses opened the book the first time. So it's very fitting that the one who was like him would open it the second time. Let me get Deuteronomy 18 and 18.
God. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18. Chapter 18 and verse 18. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
You see that? And he said this prophet that was to come was going to be as Moses was. So if he's as Moses is, he got to be a king and a priest. He got to be righteous. He got to uphold the law. He got to sit in the seat of Moses and sit in the seat of David. Do you understand? So this man is worthy to open this book because that's what he was created for. Now, let's go back to Ezekiel 34 and verse 25. Right? Because the Messiah is hand in hand with the covenant. The Messiah is hand in hand with the covenant.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 34 and verse 25. And I will make them, and I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods.
Okay, and the verse before that, I should have had you read the verse before that first, but read it now, verse 44 or 24.
And I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David a prince among them. I, the Lord, have spoken it.
You see that? So that's why he's worthy to open it, because the Messiah is given to the people around the same time that the new covenant is given to the people. Right? So he's going to come and be presented to the church as a bride and a husband, right? We know about this as the wedding ceremony. And when that happens, that's the covenant, because a wedding is a covenant, right? When I take vows with somebody, I'm performing a covenant, and we joining into a covenant together. And that's what's going to happen when Christ marries the church. All right. Let's go back. Let's finish up Revelation 5 real quick. I got a couple more things to hit, and then we can wrap it up.
Verse 6. And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the four beasts, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God, sent forth into all the earth.
Now, very important to understand the 7 eyes, right? What are the 7 eyes? The 7 eyes represent the Most High being able to see everything. You know how we say the Most High, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, right? This is why. So give me Zechariah chapter 4 and 10. I'm going to grab 2 Chronicles.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 4 and verse 10. For who have despised the day of small things? For they shall rejoice, and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel. With those 7, they are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth.
You see that? They are the eyes of the Lord who run to and fro throughout the whole earth. Let me give you another account. This is 2 Chronicles 16 and 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him. Herein thou hast done foolishly. Therefore, from henceforth, thou shalt have wars. So here, this is where King Asa was being rebuked, right? We know that King Asa, you know what I'm saying? King Asa was one of the kings of, let me make sure I'm not saying this wrong. Hold tight. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, Asa was one of the kings of the southern kingdom, right? And he was a good king, right? He was a good king, but he had to be rebuked at this point in time. So it says the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth. So this is how the Most High, he has messengers running to and fro, angels, and they bring those reports back. So you're not getting away. Like every time you do, I say this all the time. Every time you do something wicked, it's an angel right there writing it down. It's an angel right there scribing that. He got he got the spirit that was in your. He got the ideas that you had in your spirit when it happened. He got the attitude that you had, but you was trying to hide it. He got all that written down, and he brings it back as a perfect recording to the Most High. And the Most High is like, oh, for real? He was acting like that, right? So this is how it's described in the scriptures. Let me get Revelation 1 and 4.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 4. John, to the 7 churches which are in Asia, grace be unto you, and peace from him, which is, and which was, and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne.
You see that? So the 7 spirits are before his throne. So this is how they able to transmit a perfect message back to the Most High, because they are in the throne room of the Most High, and they walk to and fro throughout the earth, bringing those reports back. All right. I could keep going on that, but I think we hit that enough. Let's keep going. Let's go back to Revelation 5.
Verse 7. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him and sat upon the throne. And
that sat upon the throne. He came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the
throne. Slakia.
Yep.
And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
I'll break down the prayers another day, but this is why we like to pray multiple times throughout the day, right? Because the prayers represent the incense that was burnt in the temple, right? The incense was supposed to be burnt at 3 major times throughout the day. So if we pray at those 3 major times, symbolically, we bring in our incense to the Most High at the appointed times. That's why we put it in the chat and we say, hey, it's prayer time. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, Yawasop, first officer Yawasop, right? He will put his notes he'll put a precept in there and say, yo, it's the prayer time, right? So that's why we communicate that. Brother Yashar says 7 spirits are also the 7 archangels. Now, some people say that, right? Some people say that the 7 spirits could be the 7 archangels, right? Because the word arch just means like high or exalted or of chief authority, right? So they're supposed to be like the angels above the other angels. And that's possible because they stand in the throne room of the Most High. Me personally, I'm going to be 100% transparent and humble with you. I don't know that. So I'm going to have to go back and study that. He said Tobit 12 and 15. I'm going to study that, bro. I'm going to study that for real. Let me read that real quick. Let me glance over that real fast and then we're going to go back into it. Tobit 12 and 15 says, okay, yep. So I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. Right. And that goes into that prayer breakdown of what I was talking about. But that's an excellent point, right? So Raphael right here in the book of Tobit is identifying himself with one of the 7 angels, right? One of the 7 spirits that's before the throne of the Most High. All praises. All right. Let's get, where was we at? Prayers of the saints, verse 9.
And they sung a new song, saying, thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by the blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
Now we know that that's the children of Israel because we are the ones who were scattered into every tongue and kindred and nation. And notice why he said you were worthy, because you were slain and you redeemed us to God by your blood. That's the job of a priest. That's the job of a priest. Do you understand? So when we said earlier that he's the one that's worthy to do it because he's the king and priest, that's why. All right. Let's get verse 10.
Verse 10. and has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
Now, if we are the kings and the priests, it's only fitting that we will be the governmental heads on the earth towards the other nations. And it's only fitting that we will be the spiritual heads on the earth towards the other nations, right? So when we start saying that we are above all nations, we have to understand what comes with that. Our job is to set this earth in order and subdue the earth. Our job is not to be better than them in basketball, right? Our job is not to be better than them at rap music. Our job is not to be better than them at football, right? Whatever we want to say that's worldly and fleshly, that's not our job. Our job is to be the governmental and spiritual head of the entire earth and lead them in righteousness towards the Most High. And if they don't do that, they get the sword. That's our job. All right, let's finish this up.
Verse 11. And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts, and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power, and riches, and wisdom, and strength, and honor, and glory, and blessing.
Now, real quick question. If Christ is God and he's the Lamb, y'all already know what I'm going to say. If Christ is the Most High God and he's the Lamb, why is he receiving power? Who is he receiving power from if he's God already? So they got to deal with that, right? They got to deal with that. Anytime somebody want to hit you with the Trinity, you can come right here and say, how can God receive power? And even furthermore, how can God receive power from himself?
Or who is he receiving it?
Himself, that means he already had the power and he didn't need to receive it. That don't make sense.
Or who is above God? Who is it that's above God that he would be receiving power from if it's just him?
Right? Make it make sense, bro. All right, let's finish it up.
Verse 13. And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. And the four beasts said, Amen. And the 24 elders fell down and worshipped him that liveth forever and ever.
Hey, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, all praise to the Most High, man. We had a good class. I want to give y'all an opportunity. I see Captain Yakim Yah and the brothers is going crazy in the chat. I want to give y'all an opportunity. If y'all have any questions or anything you want to bring up before we shut this down, go ahead and put them in. Also, stay tuned for that prayer call, right? Prayer call. We are going to start introducing somewhat of a Bible study on the prayer call as well. So if brothers want to get on there and get some precepts, ask some good questions, you know what I'm saying? The brothers will be on there ready to build and edify for that as well. So y'all be missing these prayer calls, but prayer is the most important thing we could do as far as our priestly service right now, right? Because we could bring that incense straight to the Most High right before the Sabbath start. What a better way to bring the Sabbath in, right? So all praise to the Most High, man. I'm gonna give y'all a second to see what y'all got to say, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Hey, we got new music coming soon too. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, because that brother Boaz has been on my head, man. He ain't letting me go, right? Hey, that's a good question. And to tell you the truth, we answered that earlier, but I will say no, right? Jethro's people did not join the Israelites. And this is another thing that people have to get around their head. Although we have proof that Jethro offered an offering and the Most High accepted it, right? Aaron, Moses, the elders, all of them ate, or the priests, all of them ate. And the Most High didn't kill nobody, and the Most High didn't reprimand or rebuke nobody, right? He said, no, did he? See, I knew somebody was going to say something stupid, right? But and Captain Aharon teaching Sabbath Morning Brew live from North Carolina this Shabbat, man. So y'all be in the building, in the digital building, watching that class, man. It's going to be fire. Okay. But Jethro's people did not join the Israelites. Let's go into it real fast, and then we can close this out. Right, just because that's a good question to recap everything with. So I'm gonna answer it how we answered it the first time. Right. So as we read the story of Jethro, give me verse. Dang, I done lost my place. Where he did the sacrifice. Where's that at? Thought it was verse.
Nah, it's around it's verse 11.
Yeah, 11 and 12.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 18, verse 11. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God.
You see that? So they offered a burnt offering and sacrifices, it says, for God. Then Aaron came and the elders and Moses, and they ate with Jethro. So we know that this wasn't an evil thing that was happening. But in our minds, sometimes we can be religious and say, nah, man, the Most High not accepting your sacrifice. There will be a time when the strangers can bring sacrifices to the temple, right? There will be a time when strangers can do that. Jethro ends up leaving and not coming back, though, right? Jump down to verse 27.
Verse 27. And Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land.
Now look at that. Now this is important to see, because what happens right after this? The Most High tells the people to sanctify themselves. Moses goes up onto the mountain. The Most High tells the people what to say. Boom, 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 boom. And then the covenant is handed out. So Jethro was not present in the covenant. So that's an excellent question. Although Jethro had a certain amount of grace from the Most High, and the Most High allowed him to have a certain level of wisdom, he was not present for the covenant, right? So all praise to the Most High, man. Hey, we appreciate y'all again. We're going to catch y'all tomorrow for the Shabbat when we bring in the prayer call. All right? Shalom. Oh, actually, you got to get that Daniel real quick.
Okay. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever, by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai.
By Hashem HaMashiach Yahushai. Khan. We love y'all. Shalom.
This is not a test.